Chapter 4 Thinning the Herd. When Takara's alarm goes off on the first day of school at UA High, she leaps from her bed in her haste to get ready. She throws on her uniform and makes sure to attach her fancy gold tie pin before going down for breakfast. The anticipation for the first day of classes is palpable in the air as she sits with her friends to eat. Since it's a big day, Takara prepares herself a meal high in calcium and magnesium, both elements that her body uses to make jade, yogurt with bananas, and chocolate granola. She throws an orange and a pack of almonds in her bag for a snack later, just to be safe. Kate is talking Morita's ear off about the sights around campus she saw on her morning jog with Aya. The curly-haired girl just stares forward blankly, giving noncommittal hums as she sips on her black coffee. Aya doesn't seem to be faring much better, despite having already been up for a while. On the contrary, she looks as though she's about to fall asleep in her cereal. Her wings flutter every time she jerks her head back up. "You couldn't have let me sleep the extra hour?" the blonde gripes, chin resting on her hand as she glares at her sister without any real heat. "Nope," her twin chirps in response. "It's not like over break when we can just go for a run whenever you decide to roll out of bed. We have to be early, so might as well." Aya groans and lets her head fall to the table. Takara pulls the girl's cereal out of the way before she could faceplant into it. "Hey, eventually you'll get used to it, and then it won't be as hard to wake up," she says, pushing the bowl back toward her friend. "Sure," Aya mumbles, "but that means being tired for the next couple weeks." "A small price to pay to be a hero," Morita chimes in, standing to wash her mug. "We should get going soon." Takara glances at her phone to see that they're about 20 minutes from the start of class. "You're right, we should get there early enough to find good seats." "They'll probably be assigned anyway," Aya reasons, handing her bowl to her sister. "You got me up, you do my dishes." Cade clicks her tongue, but figures it's not worth arguing about. "Fine, but just this once." Takara follows her friends into the kitchen to wash her own bowl, as Aya trudges to the front door to put her shoes on. After cleaning up, the four girls follow the herd of students making their way to the main building of UA. "So you're really gonna go for a run every morning?" Takara asks Cade as they walk. "Yeah, I mean, it makes sense to keep the routine going, and it'll keep me in shape," she explains. "It's good training. Are you planning on doing any extra training outside of hero classes?" "I guess I hadn't thought of it," Takara concedes. "But I should go to the gym a few times a week. I started kickboxing a few years ago, but I didn't know if I should keep it up here." "It wouldn't hurt," Morita assures. "I've always been interested in kickboxing, especially since it'll help with hero training. Maybe you could teach me some?" Takara sends her a bright smile. "I'd love to." She considers sparring with Morita and testing Flame versus Jade. The idea of all the collaboration she'll get with other future heroes makes her thrum with excitement. Unable to wait any longer, the girls head to Class 1A. The classroom is located a couple stories up, and upon finding it, they make their way to their seats. As Aya had predicted, the seating arrangement was already made by their teacher. Takara is situated in the very front row, 3 seats over from the door, in seat 11. If only the seats were arranged just a little differently, she can't help but think to herself. Aya and Cade are in seats 9 and 10 respectively, which places them in the back of the row next to her. Additionally, Morita is in seat 18, over by the windows. This has Takara surrounded by new people, which is opportune since she forgot to introduce herself to more people last night. Then again, she was having so much fun with her new friends that she forgot. So now is as good a time as any. As she's about to turn and talk to the person next to her, the door opens, revealing their homeroom teacher, Sensei McCaffrey. "Welcome to my class," he says in his lilting accent as he trundles in, the sound of his cane thumping on the tile floor. Today, he has a long black coat over his navy button-down. I won't spend too long on introductions. You may have noticed I'm not from around here. I used to be the number 3 hero in Ireland by the name of Fardarig. I can't even try to pronounce that, Takara thinks to herself at all the rolling R's. His heavily lined eyes take on a sheen. I suffered an injury and had to retire from heroics to take the time to recover. With this thing, he says, tapping his cane on the ground, I can't get around as well, but that doesn't mean I can't help educate our bright hope for the future. Now, let's get down to the orientation before anyone takes the good seats. Their teacher's definition of the good seats turns out to be the ones all the way at the back of the auditorium where he can recline and prop his bad foot up on the armrest in front of him. Since they aren't required to sit in alphabetical order, Takara manages to snag a seat with her friends. The class shares worried glances when a giant mouse takes the podium. They soon learn that the mouse man is their principal. He welcomes back the old students and greets the new, going over the rules and expectations of being a UA student. After almost 2 hours of hearing him and the rest of the administration droning on, and watching in amusement as Morita struggles to keep from dozing off, Sensei McCaffrey has his class change into their new gym uniforms and leads them to one of the training grounds. Takara doesn't mind the dark blue jacket and pants. She knows they could be way worse, even if the material isn't the most comfortable. Her mind wanders back to her conversation with Morita about fireproof fabrics as McCaffrey explains that the uniforms are specially designed to adapt to transfigurations and a large range of temperatures. Her and the rest of her classmates immediately recognize the training grounds as one of the mock cities from the entrance exam. Takara isn't sure what the recommended students did for their exam, but looking around she sees nobody surprised at the scale of the city. Either they took their exam here too, or they're good at hiding their shock, she figures. Alright, let's get this show on the road, shall we? Sensei McCaffrey stands just outside the gates of the training field. A few baskets are set on pedestals lined up next to him. This may seem a bit unorthodox, but we're going to play a little game today. This will be the time for you to show what you are capable of and get to know your classmates' quirks. He gestures to the baskets. I will be drawing names to put you all in pairs. The goal of this game is for your team to stay standing by the time the 20 minutes are up. Pulling a roll of shiny green tape from one of the baskets, he shows it to the assembled group, then reaches into another basket to grab a matching green strip of fabric. You will each have a sash signifying what team you are on that must be displayed in a clear location on yourself. You will use the same colored capture tape to eliminate the other teams. Once the tape is around you, you've been caught. No breaking out of it. You will not only get points for lasting until time is up or until all other teams are eliminated, but you will also earn points for how many people your team eliminates. Make sense? Yes, Sensei, the class answers readily. There are cameras stationed around the training grounds so we can review the fight afterwards. Now let's pick some teams. As McCaffrey pulls names, students come forward to choose their colors and meet their teammates. When Takara's name is called, she finds herself paired with the tallest person in class. He asks Takara if she's okay being the purple team, to which she nods. No surprise there, she thinks, given the boy's long violet hair. She takes in his appearance as they enter the arena to pick a starting point. He towers over her, with skin the rich umber of a willow tree and a demeanor twice as stoic. Takara notices a bunch of golden rings through the membrane of his ears. She meets his lavender eyes as they settle into a wide open park near the outskirts of the city. Pine trees line the surrounding streets, tapering up to the sky. I wasn't able to introduce myself last night. My name is Kisho Sugita. His voice is low and smooth. He ties the purple sash around his thin waist. The girl fashions her own sash into a headband. She vaguely remembers sitting near him at dinner. Takara Juba, she introduces herself. He extends a hand, and upon shaking it, she feels his pointed acrylic nails pricking into her skin. Nice to meet you, Sugita, she says with a smile. I'm sure we'll get along well, he assures her, letting her hand slip from his soft grasp. Sugita smiles, pearly teeth flashing. But we should come up with a plan before it starts so we don't butt heads later. What's your quirk? Takara rolls up the sleeves of her jacket and extends the crystals in her arms. I can grow jade from the minerals in my body and use it as armor or weapons. What about you? He brings a single hand up and summons a glowing purple ball in the air, slowly growing larger. Takara can feel the heat radiating off of it. It's a bit self-explanatory, really, he says, throwing the ball up in the open air. It explodes, sending purple fire rippling outward. Takara feels the blast whip the hair around her face, but it does no more damage than just singeing the leaves on some trees. He turns back to her, stating, Plasma grenade. Got it, Takara says, eyes still wide from the explosion. He continues, the longer I let it grow, the more powerful the explosions. It's good we got paired up considering I have ranged attacks and you have melee. It's a good balance. Agreed. So we have to capture and outlast our classmates. Ideas? Sugita begins to pace, hand lifted to his chin. We probably only have a little longer to plan. We should stick together since we definitely have our own strengths and can help each other out of tough situations, right? Sounds good to me, Takara says, fiddling with the tape and practicing her technique. So, should we try to hide the whole time until our classmates are tired out, then capture them? Or should we play aggressively? Teams at the ready, Sensei McCaffrey's voice says over the intercom system. Begin! Sugita looks over his shoulder at the brunette, his purple hair swishing. I think we're best suited to being the ones thinning the herd, wouldn't you agree? She nods in agreement, thankful that her teammate is on the same page as her. Aya Komatsu and her teammate, Akihiko Hiroshi, perch on the roof of a two-story building, watching for movement. The winged girl continues to glance over at the boy. She's not used to pairing up with anybody but her twin. It makes her especially anxious to be teaming up with one of the two recommended students. His smooth corn silk locks are swooped to the side, not a single hair out of place. She also observes that his complexion is the smoothest she's ever seen. Overall, she can tell by the way he carries himself that he's probably rich. He surely has enough money and influence to get him in as a recommended student. Although his face is attractive, I can't help but feel like his proportions aren't quite right. His stormy gray eyes are unnaturally large, and the planes of his face are just a bit too sharp. Over the past 7 minutes or so, they were able to apprehend both members of the orange team with their blue tape. Aya had flown up behind the team and quickly slung the capture tape over and in front of both of them, taping them together in a matter of a breath. She almost feels bad that they weren't given an opportunity to fight back. Hiroshi wouldn't answer her when she asked what his quirk was. She figures he just wants it to be a surprise when he uses it, but why wouldn't he tell his own teammate? He's probably not used to treating someone like an equal partner, she tells herself, playing with the light blue fabric tied around her right arm, the same way her partner wears his. He can't ignore me when I'm doing most of the work for him. Hiroshi pulls her below the lip of the roof, and she flattens her wings to her back. Purple team, he says in his whispery voice. Aya watches as her new acquaintance, Takara Juba, covered in those milky green rocks and looking like a golem, hurries down the alleyway toward the main road with her partner, the tall guy with purple hair. Aya has to admit that Hiroshi's idea was a good one. The more confident teams would try to get to the center to fight. If they situated themselves close to the main road, they could sneak up from behind and easily take them down, all while keeping an eye out for their competitors' quirks. They keep silent as the purple team passes by. Hiroshi whispers a quiet, "Go," just after they pass. Aya flutters her silver and black wings to silently lift herself from the roof. As she approaches, she unfurls a long strip of the blue tape. When her targets are only a meter away, Sugita glances over his shoulder and lets out a noise of surprise. Takara hasn't even had a chance to turn around by the time the boy reacts, sending a large purple projectile at Aya. The fireball hits her square in the chest and sends her flying back in a painful explosion. She skids across the ground on her back, feeling the thin membrane of her wings scrape the concrete. Damn it! Aya hears her teammate cry out from above. She looks up from the advancing purple team only to let out a distressed scream when she sees Hiroshi falling from the building. She claws at the leather pouch on her hip and grabs a handful of the glittering dust inside, but she isn't able to throw it before her partner makes contact with the ground. Landing flat on his back, Hiroshi shatters into 100 pieces.